Hello everybody, welcome to today's webinar, Web-Based WeEstimate Site Survey Module for Integrators. Today we have with us Samantha Perry. Samantha is WeSuite's All-Star Account Representative. She's a friendly face at most of the trade shows and webinar sessions demonstrating the many features and functions that WeSuite provides. She has a great understanding of workflow and as it pertains to the security industry, acts as a great point person to help WeSuite clients grow their business strong. Samantha serves as a great resource to integrators who are looking to automate their sales process. A brand spanking new enhancement made with our PSA Security Integrators in mind, check out this web-based site survey module that is powered directly by WeSuite. Or WeEstimate, sorry. The WeEstimate Site Survey takes full advantage of WeEstimate folder levels with a live parts search from PSA, WeSuite, or integrated account platforms. Users can define simple to complex systems on an iPad, tablet, laptop before starting an estimate or after. Work as you like in the field or at the desktop. Important plan images, photos, or sketch it yourself. Join us for this high-level overview of the WeEstimate Site Survey for enhanced sales experience. My name is Julie Rolls. I am the training manager with PSA Security Network, and I will be moderating today's call. I have just a few quick housekeeping items before I hand it over to Samantha. First, if you've not already done so, please mute yourself. If you happen to have any questions throughout the course of this presentation, please type them into the chat box, and we will have time for Q&A at the end of this presentation. Also, if you happen to have any technical difficulties, I will be monitoring chat for the same purpose, and I'll do my best to get you back up and running should you run into any problems. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Samantha.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie. Good morning, everyone. My name is Samantha Perry, and we are going to be taking a look at the Site Survey module inside of WeEstimate today. So I have a few slides here to just go through some high-level overview, and then we're going to go right into a demonstration and get to the fun stuff. Okay? So I did get a chance to look at the registration for today. I know some of you have been using WeSuite for a long time, and others are interested in using WeSuite. So I'm just going to kind of go through this intro quickly. So WeSuite is everything sales. We really pride ourselves on our contact to contract process that will really help automate the sales process from initial point of contact with a new prospect or growing your existing accounts all the way through generating the estimate, auto-generating your contracts, and getting final signatures, purchase orders, things of that nature. So we really do focus on sales for security integrators. We've been partnering with PSA for a very long time, and our main focus is really any size sale, whether it's simple or complex, that you're able to use just one unified solution. Okay. For today, I know we only have 30 minutes, so we want to just do a laser focus on our site survey module. WeSuite inherently you're able to do a number of different things. We have over 10 add-on modules for different types of sales, very powerful estimating, being able to track leads and prospects, auto-generating documents, e-sign. And one thing that we were really working hard on was that we had released our site survey module to build site survey drawings and drag and drop the devices for your estimates inside of WeSuite. Previously, you were able to do that in our Quote Anywhere tool, which is really our residential, small, commercial type tool for the high volume, home and mom and pop stores. But really the big demand was to have site survey inside of WeEstimate, where you're able to, quote very large systems, multiple system types on the same quote, buildings with multiple floors, multiple doors, rooms, and to give you the full flexibility of WeEstimate as well as the powerful tool for the site survey. So what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at that module inside of WeEstimate. And some of the key points I want to really target on is that you're going to be building the site survey and the estimate simultaneously. So our big push here was that you're not going to be drawing your drawing, putting icons on a floor plan, and then having to build your estimate again separately. You're truly going to be doing both at the same time. So whether you're starting a drawing in the field and then you come back and fine-tune your estimate in the office, or you've built a very nice estimate and then you want to build a drawing from that, you're able to do both. Okay, so we're going to look at being able to import in floor plans. You could sketch it out yourself. You can take a photo with your device out in the field. And really take a focus on showing the different WeEstimate folder levels, which for those of you who are familiar with WeSuite totally know what that is. But I just want to make sure that that's clear today. Being able to add your parts, whether it's from WeSuite or an integrated accounting database. And then we also, just as a reminder, do a live search of all your PSA parts coming in at your pricing. You're able to insert packages, add notes, put in your own drawings and objects. So we're going to take a look at all of that today. Okay, so I'm going to hop out of this PowerPoint and we are going to go right into it. So we're going to start in Site Survey and then we're going to open up WeEstimate. Okay, so Site Survey for WeEstimate is web-based, okay, and so this will allow you to build the Site Survey drawings that you need out in the field, but still having that connection to your WeEstimate. Okay, so just as kind of an overview, you're able to look at any recent surveys that you have going on. A big piece that I want to make sure we drive home is that until a survey is connected to a quote in WeEstimate, it will stay in this temporary survey bin, right? So you can make lots of drafts and different drawings, but it's not connected yet to a job in WeEstimate, whereas your existing surveys are, these are solid surveys that are tied to jobs, not necessarily final drafts, but just have a job associated to them. And then, of course, you can do a search, and then we can create new. So for today, we're going to start right from scratch, and we're going to create a new survey. I'm going to name this. So let's call this Office Building 1. Okay, and we're going to just do one level. For those of you who are familiar with the WeEstimate folder the breakout will allow you to tier your folders to get even more granular. Today we're going to look at just a level 1, which examples are, you know, multiple floors, multiple system types. If you wanted to do a level 2, for example, you could do by building and by floor. Level 3 would be by building, by floor, and by system type. So you can get really specific if you want to. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we're going to create this, and we're going to get our blank canvas here, and we're going to begin by creating folders, just the same as we would in WeEstimate. So we're going to click plus here, and we're going to add a folder, and we're going to call this Floor 1. Okay, and then I'm also going to add a Floor 2. Okay, so now I have my 2 folders here, and my canvases are blank still. I don't have any floor plans. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the load background icon here, and I'm going to have my choice of setting up a background. Now, if I wanted to just do a plain background like I have now, that's fine. I just select that and then I can draw. I can take a picture with my device, or I can pick a floor plan, and that's what I'm going to do today, just for the sake of not having to draw everything out today. Okay, so here's going to be a small caption of what my floor plan is going to look like. Since I'm doing floors 1 and 2, for this particular example, let's say floors 1 and 2 both have the same mirror image of their outlines. I can select on both folders, indicating I'm loading this floor plan for both of my folders. Similarly, instead of if I had done floor 1 and 2, maybe I had done CCTV for one and access control for another, both will have the same floor plan, but I want to break out the different system types. Okay, so for today, I'm going to associate the same floor plan. If I hadn't done that, I would just upload 2 different floor plans. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to assign that. And now I'm going to start building each folder separately. So when I click on floor 1, I see my floor plan. Okay, and now I'm going to start adding the devices. Now again, we're starting from scratch, so similarly to WeEstimate, I'm going to start searching for my parts. Okay, so on my right-hand side is where I'm going to search. Okay, so I open this gear here, and let's zoom in a little bit on our floor plan. Okay, so if I had equipment existing in the job, it would show here. Right now there is no equipment. We'll see that when we go backwards and we start with an estimate first. When we start the survey as your first step, you're going to go into search. And just like you have in WeEstimate, you're going to be doing a live search of your parts, either in WeSuite, your accounting database, or from your PSA database. So again, just for the sake of it, I'm going to type in package, and it's going to show me all of the keywords that I have, or any of the parts that I have with package. So similarly, if I type in my CCTV, and I click search, now I'm going to see that I have 2 packages with those keywords for CCTV. Or I could, of course, instead of packages, go to my WeSuite parts and add each part individually. I'm going to use my package for the sake of being able to add everything at once. Okay, so I'm going to add quantity 1 of my package. I'm selling it outright, but you can choose lease if you want to. That's part of our lease module, which we can give you more information about if you'd like. And it's going to cascade your parts now here from that package. Okay, so now I can start placing the parts where I want them. Okay, I want this to look at the front door, and I want this to look at the break room here in the corner. Put my panel by the door. Okay, so I'm just going to start adding everything that I need all over the canvas here. Okay, all right. Now, if I want to do the same thing for floor 2, I would just move over to my second folder. We'll zoom in a little bit more. And let's say, just for the sake of this job, we're going to have the same exact package. Okay, so I'm just going to add the same package, and we're going to do a mirror image of the floor that I just did before. Maybe it'll be a little different. Again, I loaded the same floor plan just for sake of time today, but I know that that probably isn't typical. Okay, so I have all of my parts here, and my floor plans are ready. And so let's say these were the notes I took out in the field, and now I'm ready to go back to the office and create an estimate from my site survey, where I'm going to now add my labor, my wire, my chargeable items, any recurring services, all the things I need to make a full job to then send out a proposal. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Okay, and now I'm going to close out of this. All right, so we're going to minimize site survey for right now. Now we're going to open up our WeEstimate, and we're going to log in here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start a new estimate. So for this, I'm just going to use my Anderson customer that I've added here. Okay, I'm going to pick my site, my billing, my contact. So again, many of you are very familiar with building a new quote in WeSuite, so I'm just going to kind of go through this. But again, anyone interested in learning more about the, other fine-tuned elements of WeSuite, you can reach out to us. Okay, so this is going to be Office Building 1. And we're going to select our market vertical. So let's say it's a government office, our job type, which is also reading from an accounting system if you have, our system type, our type of sale, all easily configured drop-downs, and I'm going to move on and continue. All right, so now I have a job that's ready to go, okay, and it has its own job number. And here, if without the site survey, I would begin and start building my folders. Since I've already done that in the site survey, we're going to go ahead and use this new icon to import the temporary site survey I created in my site survey module and use that and make that connection to this job. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to type in office building. And I'm going to search, and maybe, I don't remember what I had called that job. I called it office build. Okay, so here's that job that I have that was out in the field I was just working on. And I'm going to go ahead and click import. It's going to say that it's successful, but it needs to close in order to refresh the information. Okay, so now I'll just do another refresh here. We're going to open up our quote from my customer that I just created. And now we're going to see floor 1 and floor 2 full of all the parts that I had added for that site survey. Okay, so that was, you know, the first example of building the site survey first and then going and building the estimate. So here you can see all the folders that are broken out. You can see all the parts. Similarly, if I, let's say, wanted to add floor 3, and I'm going to add, let's just add some cameras, do a search here, and let's add 6 cameras, okay? And that's going to be saved. Now if I go back into my site survey, I look at my recent surveys, here's that job number, and if I open it up, here's floor 3. Okay, it just needs a floor plan. So you are truly working on both at the same time, which is really super important for us when writing this tool for you guys. Okay, so let's start again from scratch, but this time we're going to start in WeEstimate. Okay, so let's close this survey out, and we're going to close this job. Now let's say for Anderson Inc., just so I don't have to create a whole nother customer, from scratch, I'm going to, let's just say they had a second building that we wanted to work on. So I'm going to add a job right within this bin. Again, bins are for the customer level, and you can have multiple jobs underneath that bin. So the customer will be auto-selected, and let's just say I'm going to pick the same site and billing just to save from typing here, but you can put in the different site address for the separate building. So I'm going to type in Sam Anderson again and get him in there. Okay, so let's say this is going to be, you know, new office, building 2. All right, and we're going to pick a couple of things that we need and move on. Okay. So now when you're building the quote from scratch in WeEstimate, we're going to have to do the same thing. You start with folders. And really the folders are, consider that to be the way that you want to break out your quote. Previously, you did that, A, because it was important for a report when you pass that off to operations. You don't want a job to just say it has 200 hours of labor. You want to know that X number of hours are associated with certain system types, certain plans. Maybe you have different categories of labor. So that's really what the importance is there. So I'm going to add some folders, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to call it Floor 1 CCTV, and the second one we're going to call Floor 2 CCTV. Okay, I'm just using the same thing as my package has all of the images. I'll talk more about that when we get back into the site survey. Okay, so I'm going to go right to my packages again, and I'm just going to grab those 2 packages and throw them in there so we don't have to add parts one at a time. But again, for those of you who are not as familiar with this piece, I can add individual parts. If I type in FLIR, for example, I'm seeing a live read of all of my PSA parts. You can see the little PSA icon here. So you're going to have all of that. I can also add my charge items, my RMR items, any labor that I have, different labor categories. Okay, so hopefully I'm not hopping around too much, but I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Okay, so so I have my 2 floors. They each have a package in them, and we're ready to now build a site survey. So let's say we'd created this quote. It's fully baked. We've added in our labor, we've added in our parts, and now we're ready to create a site survey. Rather than having to hop over into the web you can use the site survey icon right in WeEstimate. Now, what's different is that we're not using the same icon because we're not importing an existing survey to this job. We're actually starting a brand new survey and linking it to this job. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll log that in. We're going to do a survey search, or we're going to type in office building 2. And let's try, because I'm sorry, I can't remember what I'm naming these jobs. Let's use the job number instead, 15683. Okay. Perfect. So here's our job 2 for 15683. Again, same customer, but we're in job 2 now. And I see my 2 folders, floor 1 CCTV, floor 2 CCTV. Okay, and they just need floor plans. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a floor plan. For this one, let's say we're going to add different floor plans, though, for different floors. So here's my floor plan. I'm going to use the same one I used before for floor 1. And floor 2, I'm going to use a different image. Let's do this one. Actually, I don't think that one works. Let's do this one. Okay. All right, this is a home floor plan. They're not having to do with each other, but that's okay. So here's a different floor plan, again, from floor plan 1. All right. Now, when I open up the right-hand panel, I can see here's all the parts I already added to my quote in WeEstimate. So I don't need to search and add the parts again like I had done the first time. So again, that's the difference between showing existing equipment versus searching for the equipment. So here's the existing equipment from the job from WeEstimate. So now again, I can just drag and drop everything that I want and put it everywhere that it needs to go. Similarly, if I were to search and add new parts to the survey, again, if I went back to my estimate, it would add to the estimate. So don't want to beat a dead horse there, but I just want to make sure it's very clear that we're working on the same project in both areas. Okay, so what I also want to focus on today is some of the advanced features of the site survey. So in addition to just adding your parts and the floor plans, we did talk about drawing. So there is a toolbar here that you can add to your drawing, and there's a few different options here. We can go ahead and we can draw, like I just said. So here's another location. Big example of this is, let's say you're going to have a garage right off site that you don't have the floor plan for. I can go ahead and just draw that out. Similarly, if you didn't have a floor plan to begin with at all, you can just use the different shapes and arrows, freehand, things like that to build the floor plan from scratch if you didn't have an image that you're importing. So now I have my location. It's really just a room at this point. If I wanted to enhance it a little bit, it's kind of like I have on my regular floor plan, WeSuite has what we call objects. So if we go back to my search and add area here, the last tab is going to be objects. And there's a little door and a window here for that. It will give you a list or a menu of all the objects that are available to you, and these are all customized by each organization. So here's where you can indicate different images, icons, symbols that you can put on your floor plan that will mean specific things to your organization. So many of you are familiar with AutoCAD, right? This isn't going to be a replacement for your AutoCAD. That tool is very important when engineering projects. But similar to that, you can upload your own images that you'll use in addition to adding parts to your floor plan. So for example, if I wanted to add in the garage, there's a door here, and there's also a door in the back right, I can go ahead and I can do that. Okay, I can also rotate this device or this object. Same with the devices, I can make them larger or smaller. Here we also have some choices of furniture. Maybe you have icons for where power outlets are, things like that. So again, just as a reminder, these are all uploaded by your organization. So You can, of course, use some of ours, but you can always import your own. In addition to drawing your own locations and adding in your own objects, you're going to be able to add in your own notes. So WeSuite took a fine focus to different types of notes that you can have. So we have free floating notes, so I can go ahead, I can right click on the floor plan anywhere and say note will be, floors 1 and 2, code is 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, for getting in or something like that. I'll add the note. It'll be time and date stamped. I can say it's visible on the canvas or not. Maybe you don't want it, on the print. But let's say we do. We'll go ahead and that's added, and it will land my note here. Similarly, I could go to the device itself. Here's the panel. I'm going to add a note to the panel and say, install 5 inches above the light switch. Okay, so I'll add that note. Close that out. And now this note is attached to that panel, so you can see it'll automatically create an arrow for you. So we're just trying to keep things fast, but also detailed, so that you can pass these notes and information to your team. Okay, so I want to get to questions. The last thing I want to also make sure that we drive home here is the thumbnail images for the parts themselves. These are provided by you as well. So everything will have so if I type in camera, for example, a default image. Ours is a box right now, but yours would probably be, I think we have default images based on system type. So if you wanted to put an icon for everything that is a camera or anything that's for your access or something like that. But really, you'll have full control over the thumbnails here for adding everything. So again, it can be as detailed as this. You might use the same image for certain devices, but that's also completely user controlled. Okay. All right, so I know we are at time here, so I'm just going to throw up this last slide, and before we go to questions, WeSuite, we have a great partnership with PSA. We work with all of these really great companies here, and, don't take it from us, tap any of these guys on the shoulder, and they would be happy to tell you how they use WeSuite, how they particularly use WeEstimate for the integrator type sales. I mean, that's really our focus. This tool is built by integrators, for integrators. So we want to make sure that you guys feel supported in a tool that is customized for you without having to pay for it to be customized, right? So that's really what we try to drive home here. So this is my contact info also. And let us know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to talk to you guys about that.
So Samantha, I did have a couple of questions that came in. The first one is how is this different from some of your competition or System Surveyor?
Oh, okay, good question. So System Surveyor, I've definitely seen at a couple of trade shows. They have a great tool, but the big difference is in System Surveyor, you're adding icons for devices and just making kind of a sketch or a draft, but then you'll need to then create the estimate a second time with the actual devices, whereas ours is, it's the estimating connected to drawing the survey. So, so you're really getting a 2-in-1, if not 3-in-1, because you're also auto-generating a proposal from this. So that's another huge piece of what WeSuite does is our proposal and document stuff. So we really want the salesperson to be drawing or creating things one time. So that, I think, is what's the key difference.
Okay, great. Next question. After I design my survey, how do I know that my quote pricing is accurate?
Okay, good question. So similarly to what we were looking at before, and I'm going to hop back into this here, all of this search pricing I'm doing in my survey and all of this search pricing I'm doing in WeSuite, if I open up my job here, is all live searching the same database. Okay, so as long as that database is kept up to date, you'll be doing a live search there. And again, anything I add in my estimate will show in my survey, and anything I add in my survey will show in my estimate. And then again, we're doing a live parts read from PSA. So even if you're not manually keeping up your pricing, we're live reading your live pricing from PSA, or you may be integrated with some account platforms that we sync with. So that's how you'll know everything will be kind of live in addition to its bidirectional sync with the survey.
Awesome. Just one last question. What device can this be used on?
Oh, good question. So it was particularly built in a web-based environment. So you're able to, use a tablet, use your laptop. I mean, really anything with an internet connection, you'll be able to build those temporary surveys. Or again, work on any surveys that are existing to jobs. Vice versa, anywhere you can open up your WeEstimate, whether it's hosted in the cloud or you host in-house, you'll be able to build your quotes and then open the web-based site survey from within WeEstimate.
Great. I did have one more question that just came through. Can the parts be loaded onto the tablet, laptop in the event that you don't have internet access at the job site?
So, no, you would require, because the parts are not coming from the device itself, the parts are coming from your parts database, which you either maintain in WeSuite if you're not syncing to an accounting platform, or we're reading live from an accounting platform. So I know we're working on what to do in sort of an offline mode. So it's not an impossible thing. We are definitely trying to do something for that. What it might do is just take a mirror image of what you have in your database right now and add that. But for example, if something changed, you would need to hit some sort of like refresh or sync live or something like that. So right now it is important that you're connected to the internet, but that is something that is in kind of our version 2 of the site survey piece.
Fantastic. That does look like that's all of the questions that I have for today. If any of you would like to review this presentation again or would like to pass it along, we will have a recorded version of it posted soon. You can find it by visiting psasecurity.com/education. Thank you very much to Samantha Perry of WeSuite. Samantha's contact information is posted here for any questions you may have after today's presentation. Please visit our website, that's psasecurity.com, to be sure that you're leveraging all that PSA Security Network has to offer. On our homepage, you can access our future webinar events, this recording, educational offerings, business solutions, and much more. This will conclude today's presentation. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thanks again, Samantha.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, everyone.